Hey.
Hey, come on in.
Got a sec?
Yeah, you bet.
What you looking up?
Some charts and a strategic map.
Boy, and like a lot of things, Jeff.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
How are you doing?
Feeling pretty full.
Well, you got really big Birkenstocks to fill. Hey, what's with the penny jar?
Well, we got a new staff orientation coming up right away.
Oh, you're still doing that?
Yeah, figured I gotta keep the penny game going.
Remind me how that thing worked?
Well, you take a penny, and whatever year's on it, you have to tell a story that's memorable for you from the year of that penny.
Oh, cool. I love the way Walter takes the time to learn about other people before he says a word about himself. And I always notice that in the penny game.
Yeah, not only was he a good listener, but then he was willing to share personal stories about himself.
Yeah, we learned about him.
Yeah.
Hey, you're just in time for the penny game.
1993. That would be the first time I really met Walter.
Oh, 1993?
1993 was about the time when a committee we were working at the University of Calgary was interested in the world of entrepreneurship and in particular the world of microfinance.
One of the best things that happened to me was when Jim Gray and Walter called me up and wanted me to be one of the community champions because we were going to have our first business breakfast. That was a pretty modest affair. It was a tiny little room in the Petroleum Club. We probably had 25, 30 people there.
We invited Walter into a rather interesting seminar. And Walter arrived, and you can imagine at that point, here he arrived wearing his Birkenstocks. I think he likely had a beard.
When I met Walter, I was still fairly new in Calgary and learning English. And I remember the time we were sitting and talking about the work we were doing, and Walter was talking about cloud, this and that. And I got really confused because we had this beautiful Calgary blue sky with no clouds in sight whatsoever. And it took a moment for me until it clicked, and I realized he was talking about a new concept for me, cloud, as a way of creating power.
He went to the front of the room, and you can imagine what happened next, because his talk, his demeanor, his knowledge of the subject, and his sincerity just captured everybody in the room, and we were enthralled, and he really gave us a good background on microfinancing.
When you look now and you see that the business breakfasts are filling up the Devonian room to standing room only, I think it's something that I certainly, but I think everyone attached to the organization can be extremely proud of.
You can see that Walter has created cloud in Calgary and has created a beautiful learning environment that works for everybody, small issues or larger concepts. Walter is such an open person, so clouds work well too.
La la la.
I clearly remembered back in 2007 when I first joined Momentum, Walter gave some of our new Momentum staff a story about his perception about penny, about the money. He said, without the money part, we couldn't support our heart-based work. He taught us it's so important to have money and heart at the same time.
Oh, it's my turn. One thing about Walter Hossli is that he loves a good chart. A good chart could be a bar chart, could be a pie chart, multiple colors, multiple years in a chart, even better.
Walter, reducing poverty, measuring results endlessly, also in the garden and mentoring our staff.
I heard him tell the story of Momentum, the history, the values that had sustained us over 20 years of operation, and I realized by the end just how important charts are, not just because they're colorful, but because they tell a story and they tell it effectively. So thanks to Walter for instilling the value of a good chart within all of us. Penny's yours.
Thanks.
And I remember the meeting that Walter stood up and said, we have a lot of jobs here in Calgary. The issue isn't about the quantity of jobs, it's about the quality of jobs, and that we should be focused on a living wage. And now you see that campaign taken up by so many people, it really helps me recognize what a visionary Walter is.
Look at that, a penny. Whenever I think of Walter and momentum, I think of his garden and how when he first bought his home, the backyard was just plain and ugly. And he had this vision, this idea of what it could look like. And he planned it all out, and year by year, he added one element here and another there.
So we had a new young staff, Ingrid, who wanted to get some guidance on watering plants. And so as Walter was escorting her around all the plants, he was noting to her, well, you see, this is a little bit dry here. And then he went on to the next plant and he goes, you know, this plant is very dry. I'm sure the person before you forgot to do their chore. So a little while later, as they were done, Walter remembered to ask her, oh, Ingrid, did you check to see who forgot to water those plants? And Ingrid said, yes, very hesitantly said yes. And he says, well, who? And then she said, you.
Over a number of years, it turned into the beautiful garden that you all have seen and appreciate. And I think of momentum in the same way. He had this vision where he could see what he wanted. And year by year, he built in the elements that has made the organization what it is today. And I've just been so impressed by him.
So Walter, in his very humble fashion, the next day or the next Monday we had our staff meeting, shared the story and encouraged everybody not only to be not afraid to ask for help from him and how to water plants, but also to let him know when he makes those kinds of mistakes.
Walter, Walter, reducing poverty, measuring our results endlessly.
Oh, that's why I'm wearing a hard hat. Oh. The trades potluck was really fun, right? We had guys coming from all over the world, you know, and different guys made different dishes, and I made something called dodo. It's something you make from plantain, and everybody was like, wow, dodo, how is it going to taste? That is the beauty thing about momentum. Everybody works together. It's a family culture. We love one another. We help one another. Just like the day I came in for the first time. Everybody, I couldn't differentiate. Who is staff? Who is student? Who is what? Who is this? Everybody was just working symbiotically together. I just love this place, yeah.
So we're here looking at this tree today. This tree reminds me of Walter. Look at how solid this thing has gotten over the years. Walter had me plant this here a few years ago when momentum became momentum. We wanted this particular tree because it had deep roots, went into the ground. It was a full-bodied tree, and that's how I think about momentum is in the work that Walter's done here is we have really good roots as an organization. So in the future when you drive by here, you're going to see this big beautiful tree here, and it will have grown, and just like the organization will have grown, and it's the legacy that Walter will have left behind.
But he made just life fun, and what a wonderful companion to have. I feel so blessed to have known him for as long as I have, and to be able to call him my friend. Everyone, I think, should have that opportunity to have a friend like Walter.
The success of any great leader is how the organization prevails and continues that success after they've left. This has been a wonderful, wonderful voyage with Walter. It's been a great fun, and it's been very, very successful. And he's provided for the sustainability of that success. And it isn't over yet. It will continue.
Thanks, Walter.